Yo, what's up, guys, girls, and everybody in between? David Van Dyke sitting outside today, as you can see. Um, there's a little view for you. Um, Getting warmed up. It's early in the morning. I'm gonna say a lot because I'm not awake. Just warming up right now. I have this huge honk piece that I'm trying a different technique on. I'm kind of digging the technique though, but it basically uses splatter to create your mid-tone, and then you go back in and drop the highlights in. So like the eyes I'll repaint eventually, and there'll be more white and kind of gradient to it, but kind of threw this down. So we're gonna do a little splatter, just to get a little more texture and mid-tone in there. I have a cheap toothbrush I got from, I think, when I had my back surgery last month. I got it in the hospital. And the point is, like, I know certain areas I want to go heavier and have more of a dark. And see, this is normally that splatter would be like, but I know where we're going, so that's not a big deal. I can deal with that. But basically, what you want to do, to the way I understand it, and again, I'm trying this out. This is a new technique for me. I've just been messing with recently. But basically what you want to do is go into your areas. So like down here on the neck, underneath the chin, I know that there's going to be a shadow there. So I definitely want a heavier splatter. So, and this brush is not cooperating with me. Like I said, this would be like panic mode normally, but this is a very forgiving technique. I just made it way worse. In that, because I'm going in later with a white and creating a highlight, this isn't a huge deal because I'm going to cover it up. So like under the lip, the splatter's not heavy enough. I need to definitely add some more. And what you're doing, again, to my understanding, the way I understand the technique, but what you're doing is you're going to go in later with white paint, with whiteout pen. I told you I'm going to say a bunch because I'm not awake, so my brain's not working yet. And you're going to cut your highlights in. So it's very much like painting, or at least the way that I paint. When I paint, I put in my darkest darks, so I'll put in my blacks, and then I will go in and kind of hit the mid-tones and get everything, kind of get the colors blocked in, start working on mid-tones and gradients, things like that. But at the very end, the last step for me is always to go in with the whites and cut in highlights and add detail and stuff like that. So again, because of the technique, the point of this technique is to look messy up close, but as you pull back, it gets better. I'll show you an example of that here in a second. But I did want to put something up. I haven't put anything up of me working. I've been grinding away on Starlancer, my creator-owned book, with Jason. Jason's a great guy, so y'all need to check that out. You need to check out Mercer too. Written and created by Jason. Great book. Again, I'll hype him up. You know I'll point you in the right direction. But we're just going to go around this a whole lot and make a big mess, which is kind of the idea. Making more of a mess in the areas that we know we want more in. It's going to be darker, less of a mess. And see, these globs are way too big. Like, I really want a fine mist, but since this brush is not working for me at all, cheap tools give you cheap results. But it's not a huge deal because it gives me texture, and it's gonna allow me, when I come in with the highlights next, I'll cover a lot of this up, so it won't really matter. But I had a guy ask for a big honk, so I'm doing that. But then I think he kind of backed out on me. So when this gets done, it'll be up for sale if anybody wants it. So yeah, I'm just gonna kind of keep making a mess of this. It's kind of the Bob Ross effect. Like you're looking at it right now going, oh my God, he's ruined it. But it's fine. This is how it's supposed to go. You know, unless I drag my hands or my fingers in it and totally botch it. But luckily with Haunt being, I decided to do this technique because Haunt is a textured character. It's messy looking. So yeah, I'm going to do this until my carpal tunnel kicks in, and then we'll stop. No, I'm kidding. This side over here, I feel like needs a little more love. Oh yes, the flies. Being outside, you get all kinds of bugs and things. You have to be careful. You have fly footprints all over your work. See, and I'm kind of staying away from here because the cheekbone's going to come up. Cheekbone's going to come up. Top of the head. Could use some more, but I'm just looking for areas that right now that I know this top part's going to be lit up fairly well, so I'm not overly concerned about getting a bunch there. So yeah, this is kind of the technique. I'm getting ready to show you an example of it that's a little further along. But I did, like I said, I wanted to make a video. I haven't put up anything that I can think of right off on my YouTube channel. That's me working, so I wanted to at least do that. You guys have been so supportive in the other videos, and I'm going to continue to show comic work that I like and things like that, because I love comics and I love comic art. But I did want to put up something of me working. So I'm going to pull this to the side so it can dry, because that's the downside of this, is we have to let this dry completely, so it's going to need to sit for a while. But under this, it's like a TV baking show. As we set that off to the side. Now this is one that's a little further along. As I knock my drink over. So Battle Beast, as a lot of you know, started this yesterday. And this is kind of cool because I used a different toothbrush yesterday. This is not the same one, so I'm going to get a completely different effect, or different spatter, hopefully. Not completely, that's being a little ridiculous. But I already cut in some of the whites on this. I know that I want this area over here to kind of darken and pull back. I know I want the same over here. Top of his braids are behind his face. We need to darken this up, and that's kind of how you're using the splatter, is to darken things up where you need them to, and then you go in with this is all white out. Used a whiteout pen and kind of pull things back up, which again, I'm going to do that. And that's the beauty of this technique, is it's a push and pull. You're constantly adding, taking away. So I want a little more here so that he's furrowing his brow, but when I go in and pull this all back out with white, and it'll probably be white paint because as you can see, this was an old marker, or whiteout pen, and it's kind of yellow, which is weird because I didn't think I knew they did that on paper, but I didn't think they did it in the bottle or in the pen, but whatever. And yes, this is giving me a little bit bigger splatter than I want, but again, I'm gonna be pushing and pulling. This is a fun technique if you just want to kick back, relax, and have some fun making art. I draw 6 days a week, and I work about 10 hours a day on average, 8 to 10, working on Starlancer. So I don't have time to kind of do art for the fun of it anymore, per se. Like, it's fun, and I dig my job, and I dig working on the book, but to just sit back and, like, splash some paint around just for fun I don't have time. So what I've decided is I'm going to do this as warm-ups and practice this technique because it seems to make sense to me, and see if I can get better and better and better at it, which is how things work, man. You got to practice. You got to keep trying, and as you get every artist says, like, what's the trick to getting better? Oh, practice. Well, as someone who, it's been years since I've worked on a monthly book, and it's been years since I've never penciled a monthly book. I've inked, which is, basically the same. Not saying they're the same job, they're not, but the schedule. And I have to say that, like, I'm drawing so much now that I am getting so much better, like, fast. And I guess that's the point, is it's repetition. The more you repeat something, the better you get at, 10,000 hours, Malcolm Gladwell thing. And there's truth to that, for sure. But they don't tell you that, like, after the first or second day of, like, intensely drawing, you will instantly start seeing results and picking things up because you're doing it so often that you're seeing your mistakes happen in real time and you're fixing them immediately. So yeah, there's kind of the technique. Like I said, you go back in, you pull some of this out. I'll post the finished results all over my socials, which is usually David Van Dyke or David Van Dyke Art. But swing by and check me out. I appreciate all the support. And if you want to see the part 2 to this video, leave a comment, like, and subscribe. Let me know in the comments. And I'll post up the second part of this where we go in with the white and start pulling this stuff out. Otherwise, I will see you guys later. Thanks for swinging by. Peace.